Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nam Diesel, and with me I have I2XB as usual. Happy New Year. We took a brief hiatus, but we're back at it again. So, we had a couple of holidays and whatnot. We took a little time, get a little breather. That's what it's all about, In life, you got to take a break and get right back at it. So now we're back on the grind. Money Room 2018. What's up?
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, so yeah, definitely we're back. A couple of things here. We're definitely gonna be doing 8:30 every Wednesday night.
I'm not gonna say definitely on that one.
All right, but I guess we could talk behind the scenes about that. But I can't.
Yeah.
I want to tell everybody right now. I'm gonna fight for that
because there are other people involved. That's why I don't want to make promises that we can't keep. But the plan is to stay around either Wednesday, Thursday night, around that 8 o'clock, 8:30 time. You should hear from us. And, and this year we're trying to be live. We're gonna be doing a lot more live this year. So watch out for that.
We're gonna be doing live. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So today we're talking about taxes, tithing, and fucking deals. Right? Right? Yeah, we should talk about that. And obviously we're supposed to have a guest. Maybe next week we'll continue. Maybe that would be like a part 2.
Yeah,
when we have him on, so you can tell us the more political side of things. But
your twin brother, you guys look just alike.
That's what they say, right? but at least you and I, anybody listening, we all get affected by taxes of some sort. The reason why I've included tithe and tithing is because it's a form of tax. Actually, by definition, it's a form of tax. So they don't like to say that, but we got to talk about it because it affects your pocket at the end of the day. At the end of the year, I don't know what church you go to. They send you a little paper that says this is how much you give to the church, so you can file some returns back.
Me personally, I'm Catholic, so we handle that a little differently. But that's a good topic. Everyone's gonna have a different approach, and it affects everyone slightly differently. But it's a good topic because I know everyone, in their own various religions or whatnot, Christian or not Christian, are involved in some kind of tithing, whether it's saying to pay a certain percentage or do what you want, or matter of fact, don't do it at all. But it's still a relevant topic. I'm sure some people want to hear that.
Absolutely. And it could be charity. It could just be your own personal charity initiative where you give some money that affects your pocket at the end of the day. Bottom line is we're talking about money leaving your pocket. Right. So there's all kind of forces, I believe, and I follow Grant Cardone, and I'm a big believer in his concept, the philosophy of the number one thing at the end of the day is income, So, but before we get into that, I want to hear what your take is on taxes. How do you edge against taxes? Is that a topic in your life personally? Do you think it should be a topic in people's when you're planning?
What? Taxes is a very boring topic. Sorry, guys, this is a very boring topic, but it's very important too. It's a very boring topic. I don't necessarily like the whole tax. It's something that I enjoy, but I know it's important, and it's important to know it. And based on how you plan around that is going to determine the outcome of whatever you're doing, whether you're an individual working somewhere or you're an entrepreneur. Taxes are always going to be a big impact. And the reason for that is that taxes actually it's almost like the blueprint. It's like the default of how things are going to work within the economy. So the taxes based on how the tax is currently set up could possibly determine what kind of business you want to get in based on tax breaks. All that stuff. So you want to make sure that the rules are set in your favor. Taxes are essentially the rules. So you have to make sure that's in your favor. And if it's not in your favor, figure out what you could do, the loopholes and everything, So that's why taxes are important. And now, we all know that taxes recently changed, right? There's been a big change in the taxes in the tax system. And we're going to get into that in a little bit and discuss, hear different opinions. I know it has its pros and its cons. People complain about it. Some people like it, But the general that I'm hearing, I'm just getting into it. The general that I'm hearing is that for the most part, we're going to experience tax breaks across the board. For the most part, not for everybody, but for the most part, we should experience some kind of tax breaks.
Thanks to the Trump, right?
Yes, yeah, apparently.
That's what I'm seeing through. I'm seeing that, and I had a different insight yesterday. For this time that Trump is in the office, a lot of people in a sort of way kind of like expecting him to fail, or they're expecting for the next bad news. But I'm seeing that a lot of people are going to be sleeping when there's a lot of opportunities that will show up during this time, because this guy will not allow bad things from an economy standpoint, would not allow bad things to happen on his watch, even if he has to even if he has to mortgage the future to get to make that happen. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to tell everybody to just pay attention. Just pay attention. There's going to be opportunities. One of them is the tax break, but
one thing I know is that whether the tax whether this tax plan works to the benefit or not to the benefit of the economy, he's still gonna come on and say, "Hey guys, guess what? I did it. It was the best plan ever, regardless of how it goes."
He will.
So,
he will. He will, but I believe he will actually put some things to place, even if it wasn't gonna work, even if it won't work. But I believe he will.
No, I'm with you on that point, though. I'm with you on that point. If it's anything, that most people are hoping will be up his alley when it comes to politics, because he's not traditionally a politician.
Right.
It'll be the business, and if you could bring that into the economy and treat the country as almost like a business, But we'll see that, because you can kind of treat the country like a business either. It doesn't really work that way. But
yeah, you can.
But I do see that, based on everything. Yeah, I do. As much as I hate to say it, I do see that there's actually a good number of positives and advantages in this tax plan.
Yes, and my point is, don't sleep on it, because if there's tax breaks for all those big billionaires and stuff, there's going to be opportunities that will trickle down that maybe the kind of demographic that listens to our channel will be interested in. Just pay attention to that. If you're concerned about about your money, if you're concerned about opportunities for you to take your net worth to another level altogether, it may happen within this next 7-8 years, and that opportunity may not show up again. There may be another Obama that will come in and then try to save the world after that. And Oprah, right?
Michelle, where you at?
I don't know. I don't see that though, because she has something else coming. Because
dude, it's possible, man. It's possible. That'll be dope.
It's America. Dope, anything is possible in America.
Michelle and Oprah, yo, do it.
Anything is possible in America, but they should just remember that they're black.
Yeah, Trump is proof.
They need to know their shit. They're black. See, somebody said no, you don't need to know their shit. I don't know. Trump won because he's white. You need to know your shit if you're gonna be black. That's just my theory on that. But
no, yeah, that is true. You have to be almost damn near perfect. Yeah. Look how Obama in the White House. He has to be damn near perfect. If Obama did anything, salute to that man. But that guy had to walk on eggshells and do everything to the T.
He did.
If he did half of the things a lot of presidents prior to him or after him have done, man. Well, hold the face because he knew that what he was doing was not just only. Apart from the way he carried himself, he knew it wasn't just about him. It was also about the community that he represents.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
That's up to that guy.
Yeah, so definitely. So yeah, taxes. Now you were to a point you alluded earlier that taxes are boring. Just wait until you get God forbid, a notification in the email that tax evasion, that you owe some money. Then you know that taxes are not boring.
That's why it's boring, but it's so important. It's boring, but it's so important,
Right. So not that I've experienced that before. I don't plan on experiencing that, but from what I've heard, it's not a really fun ride.
It's not fun. It's not that fun,
and it's not boring.
I thought it'd be fun, man.
It's not fun and it's not boring, So definitely. We should pay attention to that, but more importantly, from a standpoint of playing offense. I also learned that from, I think, one of the two. I don't know which one, Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone. Playing offense with money, as opposed to playing defense, right? Playing defense is when you're always trying to prevent bills, when you're trying to save on bills all the time. If that's where you focus all your energy, you can't win that game, especially when you live.
I like that.
In a Western country, if you live in a developed country, you really can't win the game of trying to save money on everything.
It's simple math. It's simple math. Saving is good. Don't get me wrong. Have a budget, save. Saving is important, but you can only save so much. You can only save between whatever number you're saving and zero, right? But as far as the upside, you can go from wherever that is to infinity, quote unquote, right? So
exactly, the upside is ridiculous.
Let's look at it. Exactly, it's not in your favor, right? So you got to focus on the upside. I'm not saying ignore the downside, but you got to focus on the upside because it's limitless, right? Go for it.
Right. So I'm gonna tell, especially men, you know, I mean, let the wife, you know, it's not everybody, but typically let the wife worry about savings and stuff like that. It's not really your responsibility to be acting like you want to save every dime, turning off the heat in the house. You can do that if that's a temporary thing for you to do, if that's something that you need to get by for the moment in time. But don't, it's not a good thing for that to be a lifestyle, because there's a certain amount of energy that goes into that kind of
Exactly.
activity. That energy could be applied to playing the offense when it comes to finances.
Exactly.
And
Only thing I disagree on in that statement you just made. The only one thing I disagree on there is, you know, this is absolutely for men or for women. You know,
no,
it's
that's why I
absolutely
said. I said typically. I said
yeah.
typically. You know,
Because
personality
in,
play a role there.
in my household, I'm the finance guy
Right.
about everything coming in and going out. I'm gonna talk. You know,
You're the
yeah,
one
you
that
know,
take care of that. Yeah, I
I take
understand
care of
that.
everything,
But
breadwinner,
I'm
all
saying,
that.
so as you take care of everything, there's a difference between you taking care of everything, but also you being the one to say, wait, why do you have the, you know, there's a difference between going to the light and switching them off if it's not being used,
Mm,
right? And being the person to be anal to the point that your wife is pissed off at you, like, yo, leave me alone. I need the heat on, but they can't walk around the house.
right.
You know, I mean, we could get into the relationship end of that. You're gonna piss somebody off. You're not gonna enjoy that, you know. But I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
go too far into that. I'm just saying, as a person, not necessarily man, he's typically the man, but as a person who is the one responsible for the financial health of your family, you need to be playing offense. You need most of your energy on playing offense. Every now and then, maybe every quarter or something, you look at maybe where you maybe there could be a leaking hole or something where you overspending. Sure, you look at that, you cut that out. Like for example, I just cut my cables out because I've been paying for ages $250 every month. I just cut that out, and now I'm paying like a little bit $100 plus because I don't have to, because but I could have detected that last year, right? But I typically don't like worry about stuff like that. I'd rather play offense, worry about money coming in, right? Every
Exactly.
now and then, if I see
That money is stopping money from going out. But you know, in that same on that same, I don't want to paint the picture out there to anybody that, you know, the amount of money you save or money you have going out doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. Sometimes you could look back and be like, damn, I'll spend like, you know, $1,000 on this, $1,000
right,
that, and that stuff accumulates. If you think about it and you look at laws of compounding, say I had to say
it
the
adds
thousand
up.
dollars. Yeah, it adds up. I say, from an investor standpoint too, you know, it's like, so let's not, you know, go towards and say, oh, I get your argument entirely. It's all
You get
about
it? Yeah,
income before you talk about what's going out.
right.
But if
So
you look at what's going out and think of that as an investor, even if it's a couple of grand and you keep multiplying, let's say it's 5, then if you're a savvy investor and you can increase that, so that's 5, that could turn into 10, and that turns into 20, and that turns into 40, and that turns into 80. Not all of a sudden what that represent at that point. Oh yeah, just a couple of whatever. But that
no, it adds up.
if you invested that the right way, that could have been 80 grand in a couple of years. You what I'm trying to
Absolutely.
say? So
Absolutely, it
we
adds
got to
up.
think of it the
There's a
full
fine line
perspective.
there. There's a fine line there for me. Okay.
You shouldn't penny pick or whatever they call it. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you
That's what you're
shouldn't
trying to
do
say.
that. You shouldn't do that. But there's also a twist to it. Let's take it back to taxes, right? Playing offense with taxes to me is this. Okay, this is how I play offense with taxes, and this is my advice to anybody. If you plan on making, as an entrepreneur especially, if your plan is to make $10,000, okay, you need to 2x that instantly. That's playing offense with taxes. You need to 2x that instantly. It's not 10 grand anymore. It's now 20 grand. You
So you're
should,
accounting for the taxes.
yeah, you should sacrifice. You should double it and then say, hey, I know Uncle Sam is probably going to want half of that. Okay?
Exactly. I like that.
It's probably going to be less. Yeah, it's probably going to be less, but who cares, right? That's what I mean by playing offense. It's
It's always
about
better to overestimate than to underestimate how much it's going to be.
overestimate. So that's the part of taxes that I worry about. Now we're gonna wait for Shola to worry about the rest of it next week, right? To tell us if you can tell us the details into taxes. But I typically don't worry about the details of where I save taxes and there. And I look at people like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. They don't worry about that kind of nonsense too. They don't care about saving taxes like millionaires. Billionaires typically don't care about saving taxes. Millionaires care about that because it adds up for them. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
I disagree with that, bro.
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
You're that big time.
Let me finish. It's not. That's probably showing up on a spreadsheet somewhere, and they will see it. and they will pay attention in that sense. You know what I mean? But when Warren Buffett wakes up and going to the office every morning, he's not going there to see how he's going to save taxes. He's going there to see how much money is going to come in today. Again, I'm still on that point of playing offense here, and the amount of energy you invest into that. So I'm never going to say, hey, don't pay attention to how much taxes. Like, for example, the only reason
taxes is very, very, very important, and not just that. Even if you're Warren Buffett, whoever, capital gains will totally kill your portfolio. You know, all that kind of stuff. So it's something you have to, and especially now they're having, like, you know, this new change in taxes. We'll discuss that later. But if you're a billionaire and you make a couple of million or whatever, hundreds of million in a certain number of in a year or whatever, you don't want to lose all of that from capital gains. You don't. It's a certain. You have to definitely pay attention to your taxes.
So let me give you another theory. Okay, real time story. Okay, I'm not going to mention names or anything like that, but real life story. This is how it happens. Okay, a lot of millionaires get bills, ridiculous bills, for not paying taxes because they're just playing at that very safe area. You know, that's why.
Why do you think a lot of them donate to charity? You think they're just charitable? You think they just love giving to people?
No. I agree. Again, that's
because of taxes. Just to pay
I agree on that sense. That's another topic entirely. Okay,
no, but it still has to do with taxes. That's why they do it. They do it for taxes.
I know. I'll say another subtopic rather. You know, but I wanted to stay on my point exactly when it comes to playing offense with this thing. Okay, when you play too low, you are going to worry about taxes. Okay, because a chunk of your money, because this lifestyle. Okay, you know what? It's actually relevant. Even charity, like you said, right? Your lifestyle, the lifestyle you built around this type of income,
that goes back towards your tithe and the other topic. But you know, that's why they do it. They do that because they're trying to reduce their taxable income. You know, you're trying to reduce how much taxes you're gonna get hit with. So when people do all that, those charitable donations, obviously it's good to give from your heart, which I do. But a lot of people, you say, oh, they donate this to Africa or whatever, right? Or they make these donations to Red Cross. So people make those donations is not necessarily just because they're great people. Sometimes it's because they do it because that's what they need to do.
I wouldn't discount it though. I wouldn't discount the fact that they are great philanthropists just because they're going to save taxes. Don't
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not coming for them. It's a good thing. I believe me. I'm one of those people who think that a lot of people think when people get rich they're actually bad people. Nah, a lot of people who are rich are actually good people. But not everyone, but you know, a good chunk of them are good people.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say here is there's also like another bonus to it too. And for some of them, they do it just for that reason. Some of them do it just for that reason.
Right. So my point there that I'm alluding to is you got to play very, very high. Don't limit yourself because you don't want to pay taxes. Yeah, if the money is too much, like Warren Buffett, like we're saying, right, you give it away, right? If it's too much, but don't limit yourself. I'm saying I'm betting on Warren Buffett is entering his office, not worrying about limiting his capital gain. He's worried about increasing the capital gain and then worrying about taxes later. I don't think taxes come first. I don't think worrying about taxes come first before worrying about capital gain is my point. If you were to pick one before the other, that's my point. You worry about playing offense first, just like in any sport anyway. If all you're doing is playing defense all day long.
Defense wins championships, though. Defense wins championships.
Bro, that's strategy. Now you're talking strategy. But I'm saying if 100% of your strategy is defense, you're not gonna win championship. You're absolutely wrong on that.
I agree with you on that front. As far as like the upside is unlimited, that's what you should focus on. And also, but doesn't mean you should ignore the downside. But the downside, if you keep focusing on that, because I know some people like that too, and I keep telling them, dude, all you're worrying about is it's good to have a budget. I'm all about that. But if all you do is worrying about saving, then guess what? Say for example, let's say examples. Average person, right? Say in America, they're making $50,000, right? And all you're worrying about is saving. The most you can ever make is let's keep it simple, right? It's 50,000 because all you do is saving that. So that's your cap right there. You got to focus on moving that up, not save, because if you save, the most you can ever make is exactly what that is, right? Yeah. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about the new tax bill, right? Let's talk about the new tax bill.
You tell me what you know about it, because like I told you already, I don't pay too much attention to it.
I mean, look, as I said again, I don't find it interesting. I find it really boring. But sometimes I'm like, I got to know this stuff because it's good to stay on top of it, even though you don't like it sometimes, because it's important. And even though I said, for the most part, it looks like, for everybody, or most people, regardless of what tax bracket, because they did move around the tax brackets a little bit, whether you're pretty affluent or you broke, for the most part, everybody is getting some kind of
tax cut.
Some kind of tax cut. You're gonna be paying less in taxes, right?
So in my case now, guess what that means for me? I just see surprise money, I guess, at the end of the year.
Yeah. Plus you have kids too. You have kids too. So I think that's like the kids refund or whatever it is went from 1,000 to 2,000. So you have more over there. You got a little cash in your pocket over there now, right?
It's not the most favorite time of the year for me.
It doubled though. It doubled. So that's in your favor, and it's also, I think they said 1,400 of it is refundable, something along that line. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's nice. Now let's talk.
Maybe I could borrow one of your kids real quick.
Nah, bro. We're good on that. We're good.
I'm joking. But the other thing is as far as other things I noticed about corporations. So like, say for example, everyone who got the tax cuts was about 2 to 3% from what I look at the spreadsheet with the difference, about 2 to 3% drops. Nothing that's significant. Corporations, on the other hand, this is my main critique with it, had a tax cut. Let me put on my, take up my entrepreneurial hat real quick and think like for the society, because I'm more than just an entrepreneur. We're still people who live. Right? So anyway, corporations got a tax cut that went from 35% down to 21%. So they went from 35% in taxes to 21%. That's a big drop. We're talking 14% drop. And not only that 14% drop, that's a permanent drop. The other ones that we are getting, everyone else is getting individually, is I think it lasts for the most part about 8 years.
You say corporations are not getting, they're getting their tax cut reduced.
No, they're getting their tax reduced. They're getting the tax cut.
They're getting a tax cut from 35 to 21%.
They're getting the biggest one.
That sounds right to me, but sounds good to me.
So I'm trying to put on a different hat here real quick. So in terms of the society,
how does income bracket play into that? That's my question.
As far as the tax cuts,
from
what I saw, it was this. So for some people, it actually might increase, right? And then this is when you consider the inflation adjusted income from year to year, right? But for the most part, everyone sees some kind of reduction, and it was like maybe 2 to 3%. Nothing that major. Nothing that major. Of course, it was just like a little bit. It's something, but
Can we be clear about something though? Can we be clear about something? This country, whatever laws or powers that be when it comes to taxes, will never favor non-entrepreneurs. Are they clear about this? Is everybody clear about this?
And that's exactly why I said from the beginning, the tax is like the rules, it's the blueprint, and you got to make sure that they're in your favor. And that's why you got to understand this stuff. Because now, say for example, you see this stuff. Okay, now what does that mean to you? It means it's in your favor if you're one of those people who are going from 35% to 21%.
21%, right?
Exactly, business. So that's what it's about. But now, I'm talking to the general public, because not everyone here is into that, but it's still something to keep in mind, right? Because some people are still, doing whatever they're doing. But anyway, the point is they're getting those tax codes from 35% to 21%. That's a big drop. And when you have that drop, that kind of cut, and it's also permanent, right? It's supposed to be permanent. The one that everyone else is experiencing right now is temporary. It's like 8 years for the most part. And I think this is what I think they're trying to do. They're trying to quote unquote boost the economy. They're saying that, okay, if we reduce the corporations tax, there's going to be more money coming in for them. So what they're trying to do is make sure that businesses are doing more of their conducting most of the business in the United States rather than outsourcing and doing stuff of that sort.
Now,
right?
Outsourcing. Let's talk about outsourcing real quick.
Sorry. 1 second. I'll go back. And the other thing too is that they're hoping that now with this small tax reduction that they give to people, right, that people will spend more. I think that they have it reversed. If the intent is really for people to spend more, because people like to spend money, whether it's Black Friday, whatever it is, they like to spend money for no damn reason, right? And even if it's you have a budget, you have a certain percentage, say 20% of your budget you want to use on a certain thing. If you have more income, there's a good chance you might use more of that money to do that certain thing. So if they put the money and give the people those tax cuts, I feel like that will actually push the economy more than just leave it in the hands of the corporations. Because corporations are not stupid. They're going to be like, okay, fine, we have more money. You know what Apple does? Apple has a lot of that money in offshore accounts. They're just going to a big amount of stash. So they're going to think from a business perspective and do what's best for the business, not what's best for the country. If you give the money to the people on the other hand, they'll take that money and they're going to do what's best for themselves and just spend it. They're going to spend because they feel like spending. So That's my one critique with that new tax structure. Now you want to go back to
so let me two things. Okay, we're talking about the tax cuts in general, right? Um, okay, the fact that they want to put more money in the pocket of the corporation so they don't move jobs out, right? Do you think that how far do you think that's going to work?
I think it's just like a matter of trial and error. They're just trying to say, let's see if this works. I don't think that would have been the smartest move for the economy. Maybe they could give them like a 5-10% cut. That's fine. 14, that's excessive. They could have used a lot of that for the rest of the people, like rest of the people.
So you think it's going to work in keeping jobs inside?
I don't think it's just a test. They're trying to see what happens. So I don't think it's really going to necessarily work. You know. And it's not just about the jobs; it's about the economy as a whole. You have to look at the big pictures for the economy as a whole, right?
And I'm looking at the big picture as the global economy as a whole. The global economy. There's this. I could be wrong here because again, like I said, I don't look too much into the details of these things. But based on the little bit I can see from a bigger picture, right? There's this sense of arrogance that just comes with American. They literally just don't want to have any respect for how everything else is moving outside of the economy of this thing called America or US, right? It's just a bigger whole world outside of there. And I really don't think 14% is going to do nothing. If it does, it will be short term, right? And we're going to be back at it again because, again, it's like swimming against the trend. What do you think about what I just said? As far as bigger picture, where global economy is going, we're talking crypto and Bitcoin all the time.
I know exactly where you're going with that, and I was trying to keep it just based on like what the tax structure is about, which is about the economy. I'm trying to give the perspective of why they say they're doing what they're doing, right? And I don't necessarily think that's going to work because a lot of people say, oh, keep the jobs in America, the jobs are going out elsewhere, all the IT jobs, a lot of jobs are being outsourced, right? So they're trying to bring the jobs back, but at the end of the day. Big picture, not necessarily global picture, but big picture within the United States economy, I think the smarter thing to do would to give the money back in the hands of the people so they could spend it how they want, not in corporations. Because corporations could easily have another branch outside of the United States, regardless of what they give them to do with the money. They'll do whatever they want to do. But if they give it to the people who are domestic in the country, then they're going to spend the money more than likely 90% chance within the country, right? So that's how I see that.
All right, so I'll use one country as an example, the Philippines, right? There are young men like me, you and I, that are just content off of like $5-6 an hour. It's like they're balling in Philippines. Are you and I ready to get $6-7 an hour and be happy and still live here? Can we handle that? It's a big old world out there, and I need to stress.
You're talking about cryptocurrency. I mean, I'm
talking about jobs. I'm talking about just simply the global economy. Take that out of it. I'm talking just the global economy as a whole and the direction it was moving. The reason why jobs are outsourced is because we don't want that job. The people that live in the United States don't want those jobs. That's why. It's not because people wanted the jobs and they're not doing it. We don't want those jobs for the amount of money that it comes with.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is that what this brings us to. It's also, and I don't go too deep into it. It goes back into the whole thing of cryptocurrency because the world is becoming such a smaller place. People who work in all these other countries could actually work and get paid in cryptocurrency, right? They could, and I think this is going to be probably very, very long term. But what's going to happen really long term, like I don't know how far in the future is, things are going to have to even out one way or the other. That guy who was in the Philippines that's content with $6, it might move up to maybe $12. People in the United States too might come down. Because that's what the global economy is going to do. The world will become a smaller place. So eventually, this big disparity that we're having, right? Just like every market is going to have to balance out, and that's what's going to happen when cryptocurrency becomes liquid and it's flowing from country to country, like back and forth. That's why I see and envision happening. And as a matter of fact, there was some places I think was it India? There's somewhere where a lot of entrepreneurs go now these days, and I think they spend like maybe $200 on rent for a month. Right,
yeah,
and they live like kings. Yeah. I think some they have like they get massages. I saw the
Colombia.
on Facebook.
Colombia.
Not Colombia. This was actually in India. It's actually in India. They get massages. They do whatever. They work like
India.
Barely,
you're probably right about India.
There's a lot of people with like internet businesses. Entrepreneurs. People who are like young guys too. Some like in the 20s, right? And they're just there chilling. But what they take advantage of is this big disparity. And how much now they're able to make that money without being tied down to a certain location, and be able to also take advantage of the lower expenses elsewhere. You know, so that's almost what you call arbitrage in trading. They're almost arbitraging the lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah, that's where we're going. And the idea of borders, sovereignty, it doesn't have as much value as it used to be. And things will, like you said, things will balance out. You know,
borders. How about the wall? Got to put up that big wall, man.
No, the wall is coming, bro. The wall is coming. The wall is coming. Yeah, but I mean that's what we're going. Again, that's why we got to play offense. And I will keep saying that. And we're playing offense, focus on income. And I will keep saying that. And yes, pay attention to your taxes so you don't get a bill 2 years from now and say, well, I said don't pay taxes. I didn't say that. I'm just saying if you're going to invest that much energy into saving on pennies, that same energy is probably going to, you know,
you better channel that somewhere else.
Yeah. And yes, I absolutely still save money, please. Okay. Now we already spoke about taxes, tithe and tithing. I pretty much lumped that into the same thing as taxes because essentially it's money coming out of your pocket, right?
I'll let you do most of that. Okay.
No, I don't.
Pastor.
I don't have much to say on that, honestly. Funny enough, because it's just a label. As far as I'm concerned, it's taxes. So, you know, it's just we label it something else and then we paint it something else, whatever. But from the standpoint of what we're doing here, you know, it's just part of the money that comes out of your pocket, and you should plan accordingly. And the way I like to plan is when I say I want to make $10,000, I 2x that. That's how I do that. That way I don't have to. That way, if I save, it's just playing to bonuses for me as opposed to that's my main source of income. People treat savings as a source of income. Savings is not a source of income. It could be when it comes to the arbitrage of it, when it comes to, yeah, it's money added to your pocket. You can think of it in math. But when you think about it, the potential of where you put your energy, you're better off playing offense always, and you're better off just 2x, 3x. When you say, hey, my plan is I want to make $20,000, just double that up, you know, double that up. And because it takes nothing to just say, you know what, my head just went bigger. Because, you know, think big, right? Think big. The head is not going to hurt if you think a little bigger.
So let me ask you this. So since you talk about tithing, right? Let's talk about tithing. So what is tithing to you? And what percentage of your income is this before taxes, after taxes, or just, you know, as a matter of fact, for those who are like, what the heck is tithing? Because some people are like, what the heck are they talking about? Could you just explain to me what tithing is and what it is to you?
So I will explain it, okay, but I'm also assuming that if that title attracted you, you probably know what it was. Tithing is not something that's relative to me or you. It's simply the tenth. It's simply the tenth according to certain laws from the Old Testament of the Bible. They call it different names in Muslim religion. They call it different names in all type of different religions. That's why I call them labels, you know. But that's just what they are, you know. To me, to you, the idea of, oh, what is it to me, you, that's just argument point. I don't engage in arguments that has to do with religion or spirituality, because those things are very, very personal. And that's why they become very sensitive and very very controversial topics, you know, because they're personal. This nature of the topic is controversial. That's why you're arguing. So I don't argue on things like that. It's very simple. The tenth of your income, you take it to a church. That's tithe.
Okay, that's what I was asking for. So a tenth. so to you, tithe is a tenth of your income.
Not to me. That's what it says in the Bible. Not to.
Okay. I know, but some people, as you said, some people might have a different view.
I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. If you're asking me on a personal basis, I don't believe in just tenth. I believe in more than tenth. I believe in giving. My lifestyle, period. Like giving. Like period. Like indefinite giving. Like Warren Buffett giving.
Right, since we're talking about tithe, I just feel it's good that we have a definition for people who are watching. Right. Tithe. So essentially, what I say that tithe is taking 10% of your income and giving that to your religion, to your God, donate
to the church.
Okay, to the church. Okay,
specifically to the church, not to God, because I could give it to the kids that's hawking on the street of Lagos.
So specifically to the church.
Argue that it's not
exactly. That's why I wanted to be very clear, because there are many misconceptions. So you're saying tithe is taking 10% of your income and giving that to the church.
Today in 2017 means giving it to a church. In the place where it was actually in the Bible, it says take it to a high priest.
Now my question is this because I think it's in the Bible, because we're talking about taxes here, right? And we're talking about tithing and Bible, where I think Jesus said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, right? So
yeah, that was tithe.
Yeah, so no, that was not that was tax. That was tax.
I'm telling you that tithing was the taxes back then. When that law was written, it was the taxing. The church was running the government at the time.
I'm not sure about the details of that, but I know that was
said. You what I'm about.
I believe that was taxes. But now my question to you is now in present time, right? Now we have taxes. Do you tithe after tax or you tithe before tax? What number are you going for that 10%?
So I don't tithe at all. Period.
For people who do that, who follow that rule.
Oh, you're saying who follow the rule? Again, this is why I laugh. Okay, because there's obviously a discrepancy there. Do you tax on your gross or your net? That's your question right now, right?
Right. No. I'm talking about tax because your tax is based on your gross.
You tithe
your gross or your exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because we're talking about taxes now.
I can't answer that question because I can't relate, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, but do you know people who do that though? Like, based on your experience.
So I'll tell you, my father is not even really a tither, honestly. He gives, but it's not really it's not a religious kind of tither. The people that do, I think there's been argument that it's supposed to be on gross, which means on money that's not even in your pocket, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. We're talking about taxes here. It's
right. But if I were to, let's say I was religious about that, common sense. If I was to use common sense for that, I would say, hey, money that ended up in my hand, I'll take 10th of it. Like actually tithing. Wait, slow down. actually tithing, right?
So you mean tell me you don't give the full 10%? You want to give
10% of the net income in my pocket, yeah, not the gross, right?
So you're giving more to the government than you're giving to your church.
That's Caesar's now. So the money that end up in my pocket, right? The money that end up in my pocket, or the fruits. Let's talk about fruits because it's supposed to be food and stuff from the farm. It's not supposed to be money. It's just pastors of nowadays that call it money. It's supposed to be.
But we have to also understand that things have changed. Things have evolved. Are you going to bring a goat?
Oh, so I was going to talk about.
Are you going to bring some fruits and some veggies? We can't do that anymore. It doesn't make sense. And
so again, I was going to talk about the things that have changed. Okay, another thing that's changing that we should pay attention to is that people are calling out the bullshit. Okay, that's something we should all pay attention to. And the bottom line is you give. That's a principle of life. Okay, if the more you give, the more value you give into the world, the more you're gonna receive. That's principle of life in general, right? So that has nothing to do with religion. It's not ambiguous. It's just what it is, right? Because you receive when you give. However, tithing, the label tithing or tithing, all the rules around it, all the first fruit. Again, just like you just said, things are changing. Yeah, that's why social media is buzzing all over about it, and they're not stopping. They keep talking about it. I thought it would stop, but it's not. They're not stopping. They're still talking about it.
So now, while talking about tithing, you said that according to what you experienced in my church. I'm a Christian too, right? But I'm Catholic.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm Catholic.
Americans don't consider Catholics Christians. Sorry.
Well, I don't care. I'm Catholic, and I'm Catholic.
That's a Niger Igbo Catholic. Of course, they're not Christians.
I could define it the way I define it, and the Catholic, to me, Catholic is the first Christian church. So I'm Catholic. So anyway, moving on. In my church, we don't necessarily practice tithing like that. It's under 10%. Every time you go to church, people do donate. You donate from your heart, whatever you're willing to give. So I'm a give. I give to the church whatever I feel I could give, and I give to other people. I think even since we talk about Christianity, I think we're kind of almost drifting here. But hey, what you do to the least of my brother is what you do unto me. So I give to people. I give to people on the street. I give to a beggar. I give to people. Right? I give freely. That's my own version of tithing. I feel like, as a matter of fact, a lot of times I feel like instead of giving to a church,
that's your version of tithing. You're breaking the rules. You're calling your version.
Well, I said my version. So it's not tithing. It's just what I do, right? So what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is, instead of giving sometimes to a church or people who feel already wealthy or better off, I might as well give it to somebody who I feel I'm actually needed. That's if you look at the way Jesus Christ moved in the Bible.
That's how Jesus Christ did it. Yeah,
he did not move by conforming to necessarily by those kind of structures. It comes from your heart. You do what you want to do, and I feel I'll make a better impact in somebody's life than giving it to a church that's already probably rich, maybe even richer than me, right? So that's how I think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I absolutely follow Jesus, 100%, like 100%. If you tell me anything outside of the red letters in the Bible, I'm looking at you side eye, and I'm like, okay, all right, opinion, great. But the reason why I'm following Jesus was also human here too. Okay, I'm not drifting to Christian, and I'm just telling you as it is, right? as in like the old 2017 is after Christ. That's what it is. So everybody know what that is, right? So I'm following that, and also because it aligns with my spirit as a person. Okay, so that doesn't mean it has to align with somebody else. So I'm chilling. I don't argue. I don't go back and forth. I'm just saying, if money is leaving your pocket, pay attention. That's the whole point of this video today.
And now to even go back, so now I've already kind of put my disclaimer of how I roll, right?
Right.
I'm not trying to attack anybody specifically, but I do know, and I've seen what you're saying, that there are predators, that there are what I could call almost predator churches out there who take advantage of people. You see commercials on TV, people selling stuff, pay this for a miracle, pay this for a prayer, or people go to church. Yeah, or even the whole tithing concept. You see pastors are getting filthy rich. They have like jets going around the place. To me, I don't to talk on something that I'm not really a part of, because I don't really belong to this kind of churches. That's not how I roll. But when I look at it from an outside perspective, I'm just like, don't you guys feel like you're being taken advantage of here? Just that's just my own 2 cents on that. And I think people need to open their eyes when it comes to that, and especially not just here. Some people who kind of on that borderline. There's some people here who, don't get me wrong, not every pastor who has money is evil, doing a bad thing. Sometimes it just works out that way. But there's some places where you can see they're predators, and they're actually out there just trying to get people's money. And not to go talk people, that's very. If you talk about tithing, it's something that's very, very popular. And I'm moving on somewhere else. Moving on to like Nigeria, for example, or African countries. This is something that where I see people getting taken advantage of like crazy. And there's ways to churches, and sometimes it's as a result of poverty. People are looking for a way to make money, looking for a scam or the next hustle. And some people, guess what? Church is like a business. Is a hustle, and they get rich of everybody around them because they're manipulating their religious beliefs. It is. That is wrong, and that's what I want people to watch out for.
Right, it is. But I also want to say, it could also because you're well traveled or you're well learned. You've experienced. I'm just having a little bit of empathy. They're still responsible for paying attention and using their own brain, but I just want to have a little bit of empathy of people that are in that system. Sometimes when you're dealing with so much of things going on in life, your brain gets shot. People can manipulate you easier.
That's very true. Plus, when for people who are inside that, because now for me, as I said, I'm looking from the outside perspective in, because that's not my kind of belief, and that's not how I move, right? But for people who are already in that system, and that might be all they know. Yeah, I'm sure it might be a little bit harder for them to see things from outside. For me, it's just so obvious, right? But I want to tell. Since they're in that box, they don't even know.
No, but wait,
they can't tell.
I don't want to forget this, but wait, I want to tell them they're wrong. I don't care they're in this system. I have empathy for them, but I want them to know that they're wrong. That it's their responsibility to pay attention, to understand that they get to control what happens to them. They get to turn their country around if they want to turn it around. And it doesn't matter that I'm looking from outside. Sometimes you need people to be on the outside to tell you the truth about yourself, don't we? All of us as individuals.
So that's what I agree with. So now what I'm trying to say is, sometimes for some people have that in them to raise out of a certain situation, or think broadly, like kind of like I should sit down there where you are, I see where I am, I can see myself big picture from outside, almost like from outside my body, and see different perspective. Not everybody has that. But sometimes we need people to be able to come in and help other people. So that's what we're doing now. So hey, if think about it. Think about what you're doing. I'll leave it as that. Before
we want to know their opinions.
Yeah.
We want to know your opinions. If you're listening, if you're watching this, we want to know what you think. I mean, we kind of like lumped taxes, tithing, and bills together here. But I mean, what do you think? Is it the same thing? Is it different? Do you feel like, no, the Holy Spirit, when you spend money to the church, the Holy Spirit will bring it back to you in folds? Never mind counting the bills. Never mind playing offense. If you feel that way too, I want to hear from you.
So, what's your view on tithing? Why do you tithe? I'm sure some people even tithe because they feel, okay, I put this money out there in church. It's almost like an investment. Some people see it as
it's an investment.
Don't do that. That's not necessarily smart either. So you get to give from your heart and give what you want to give, right?
Yeah. Is it net or gross?
Exactly. So what are you doing as far as tithing? Do you tithe? Yes or no? And if you do tithe, how do you go about it? And I hope we're able to also educate you as far as this whole tax structure. For the most part, for the next 8 years, you should be seeing some kind of nice tax cut. You might get a couple of benefits. If you have kids, you might get a benefit there. If you own property, there's some restrictions there. But at the end of the day, I hope I'll give you some kind of education on this topic. And if you have any questions, comment below or send us an email. And yeah, 2018. This is also impromptu. We didn't really prepare for this. This was just like, hey, we're back at it, and going forward, we're gonna have guests, and it's gonna be real.
Good. All right. See you guys. Talk soon. Peace.
Peace.